We have details of Modi 3.0 cabinet portfolio allocations, and of course we have Maria with us with all those details. Maria, the latest that we hear, of course, is Jyotiraditya Scindia getting telecom, and of course Giriraj Singh getting textiles ministry. Interesting, because it was with Piyush Goyal. And also tell us, what is Mr. Goyal getting? There are no indications as such. Is he going to continue with commerce?
Yes, so all indication is that there is continuity at multiple levels if you look at it. From Ashwini Vaishnav to top 4 of the CCS to, most of these leaders continuing with what they have got. And when you have heavyweight ministers, like those who have had long experiences, for example, Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan is continuing he has had 4 term as the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, and hence he has been given very important agriculture ministry. Also that has been clubbed with rural development. For example, Hardeep Singh Puri understands very well the diplomacy which is associated with oil. He had been pretty vociferous, particularly during the time of Russia-Ukraine war and defending India's position. So he is continuing in the petroleum ministry, but of course his urban development ministry is going to another minister. But overall, if you look at it, I won't say many surprises here, Vasudha. Prime Minister Modi is known for surprises, but this time I think the journalists may have just got it right in saying that there are 4 CCS portfolios. All of them are continuing. I'm still waiting for Mr. Nadda's portfolio, because that hasn't come in as yet. So let's wait for that. But even the shipping portfolio, which was with Sarbanand Sonowal, is continuing. But MOS in that is going to Shantanu Thakur. A word on Shantanu, Vasudha, please continue.
So Shantanu Thakur, Mathua community, somebody who's very critical for the BJP's identity politics in the south of Bengal. The other minister from MOS from BJP in West Bengal is from the north of Bengal, Shukanta Majumdar. Tanima, on Shantanu, anything on the Mathua?
Right, yeah. So as we know that this time around, the BJP, of course, could not really make the kind of gains that they were hoping to make. North Bengal is largely where they have been strong. But other than that, in terms of South Bengal, as you were saying, and especially with regard to Mathua community, despite the fact that several CA certificates were given out just days ahead of the last few phases in Bengal, but the gains were not really made as such. But nonetheless, keeping one of the prominent faces from Bengal as a key minister in the centre is something that the BJP would hope to make gains in 2 years from now, when the Bengal elections are coming up. MOS shipping for the moment to Shantanu Thakur. And as in fact, Vasudha and Maria, of course, are covering the party more closely. And so there's more
I'll just add one part. So we know that Mr. Nadda, who was the health minister in the first cabinet of Prime Minister Modi, is getting the same portfolio. C.R. Patil is getting Jal Shakti. But what is the present Jal Shakti? The outgoing Jal Shakti minister is getting Gajendra Shekhawat.
Yes. Culture is what we hear.
Yes, culture is what we have flashed. Yes. Kiran Rijiju, Parliamentary Affairs, JP Nadda, Swasthya Mantralaya, Mansukh Mandavia, Shram Mantralaya is what we are being told, and C.R. Patil, Jal Shakti Mantralaya.
I think, Maria and Tanima, the most interesting thing is every minister here used to have 2-3 portfolios. Bhupendra Yadav had labour and environment. Now he has only environment. Labour has gone to Mansukh Mandavia. Ashwini Vaishnav had telecom, IT, and of course railways. Now he has only railways and of course INB. But Shivraj Singh Chauhan gets rural development and agriculture. So that's a very meaty thing, isn't it, Maria? So how do you read this? Because just a few months ago it just seemed quite at some level very interesting and bizarre that he was dropped despite the BJP sweeping the state. And of course there were problems with that. There was a sense of fatigue, and surprisingly the BJP managed to win MP assembly polls. And then of course Shivraj Singh Chauhan moving to the centre with such meaty portfolios. How do you see this?
Yes, I think there was a lot of loyalty which has been associated with Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Vasudha, and it's very interesting that in these elections, the strike rate from Madhya Pradesh has been 29 on 29.
Right.
In fact, the only seat that the BJP had not been winning for 2014 and 2019, which was the constituency of Chhindwara of Mr. Kamal Nath, that has been won also this time around by the BJP. Despite Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan not very, okay with the idea of being pushed out and someone like Mohan Lal Yadav, who's relatively a new face, brought in his place. But I think that is what was seen as some his political dexterity, I would say, was put to test, and he passed with flying colors. And here he is returning with multiple portfolios. But I think the nature and the manner in which he has dealt and handled, multiple protests and other challenges he had in Madhya Pradesh with regards to farmers is making him return as the agriculture minister. Because, let's not forget, Vasudha, the concerns had been, okay, so we have the final list now which has come in from the president's office. So the final list from the president's office is out. We can now run it. So we can perhaps scroll it and run it. The final list from the president's office, and I'll start reading it, Vasudha.
Yes, right.
So Rajnath Singh, Minister of Defense, Amit Shah, continuing as Minister of Home Affairs and Minister of Corporation. Nitin Gadkari, Minister of Road Transport and Highways. Jagat Prakash Nadda, JP Nadda, Minister of Health and Family Welfare. Then you have...
Nadda also gets, I think, chemical and fertilizers, which was with Mansukh Mandavia. And of course, Shivraj Singh Chauhan, like we were talking about, he's the Minister for Agriculture, Farmers Welfare, and also Minister of Rural Development. Remember, these were heavy ministries that were with Narendra Singh Tomar, who has moved to Madhya Pradesh as the Speaker.
So Chirag Paswan is actually getting food processing. So that's what the list shows, not the sports.
And we have the
was
JDU
being
name
anticipated.
as well, Rajiv Ranjan Singh.
Yes, now we have the JDU name, and we also have other names, including the confusion that we had around HD Kumaraswamy, it's heavy industries and steel.
Yes.
Piyush Goyal, commerce and industry. Jitan Ram Manjhi, MSME.
And Manohar Lal Khattar gets not just Ministry of Power, but also Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs.
Yes,
in fact, he's the man in charge, who's going to be responsible for smart cities across the country. That's very, very interesting.
And huge responsibility there completely for him. So I would say that when we look at this list, there's a lot of balancing which has been done. But interestingly, Nityanand Rai is returning as the MOS of Home Minister Amit Shah. Right. Anupriya Patel, same ministry, she's continuing. V. Somanna, the Minister of State in the Jal Shakti. And if you could go through that...
V. Somanna, let me remind you, is the man who fought against Siddaramaiah. He, in fact, fought on 2 seats and won just 1. And he's a 6th-term MP from, he's a Lingayat from, from, of course, the state of Karnataka. And Maria, the whole, the central theme of this whole, portfolio allocation is also Sangathan Ka Admi. Like, that's what people call Mr. Khattar, or for that matter, Shivraj Singh Chauhan. And I think all of this could be placed in the context that, workers have to work in coordination, something that Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke about. So clearly there is a lot of emphasis on organization building and empowering people who understand the BJP RSS synergy and organization, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And Jual Oram, Minister of Tribal Affairs. Giriraj Singh, as we have been reporting...
Tribal Affairs, because Arjun Munda lost, so Jual Oram from Odisha has been brought in. He, in fact, comes from the same district, Mayurbhanj, as the president.
Yes, and Ashwini Vaishnav has 3 portfolios. Not just INB and Railways, he's also continuing as Minister of Electronics and IT. Okay. So he's another very, very heavyweight minister. But interestingly, Jyotiraditya Scindia has Minister of Communication, and also Northeastern region, because a portfolio which was held by Dr. Jitendra Singh in the past.
Absolutely.
He was in charge of Northeastern region. Bhupendra Yadav continuing as Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, but he is losing his Labour Ministry, because he used to deal with that as well. But
and Chandrasekhar Pemasani, the richest candidate in TDP, also the candidate other than Ram Mohan Naidu, is the MOS in the Ministry of Rural Development, of course, so he would be reporting to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, and he's also the MOS in the Ministry of Communication. So
and Kishan Reddy, Minister of Coal and Mines, he was earlier Culture Minister, so he has been moved out.
Also donor, he was in charge of the North.
So Mansukh Mandavia also has sports, and Chirag Paswan is actually holding the portfolio that his father had once upon a time, which was a Ministry of Food Processing and Industries. Absolutely. So I think he is filling into his father's shoes and has huge shoes to fill in there. So I think that emotional aspect which is associated with it would be seen with Chirag, particularly when he takes charge of that ministry that day.
In fact, we can bring in Prabhakar on that note if we want. I believe Prabhakar is also joining us from Patna there. Prabhakar, what is the first reaction in terms of how the BJP has managed to accommodate JDU, and also as both Maria and Vasudha were talking about the ministries which have been allocated to Chirag Paswan?
See, the list has just come out, so the JDU hasn't actually reacted on it, and we are actually still, I mean, we are just trying to let this list sink in. But from what I can see, actually, as the name comes, you have got Panchayati Raj. Lalan Singh has got Panchayati Raj. So talking about the two ministers, one was the MOS Agriculture, Mr. Thakur. He has got MOS Agriculture. So he was the deputy of Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So that is one ministry which the JD would be happy about, because agriculture was one ministry which they were always eyeing for, and we have been telling our viewers. The Ministry of Food Processing, the Ministry of the Lalan Singh has got that ministry is of Animal Husbandry and Fishery. So that is one ministry which Giriraj Singh had earlier, and that again would be something which would suit JDU's agenda. And we are still trying to browse through the list as to what other ministers from Bihar, be it from the BJP quota, like Giriraj Singh has got, Nityanand Rai has been listed as in the same capacity. Giriraj Singh has got independent charge of cabinet ministry. MSME is interesting. Jitan Ram Manjhi has got MSME, and Chirag Paswan is I just had a word when the first list was out, and there was a confusion regarding him getting the sports, but he's got the food processing. So he was not sounding very happy about it. So we'll have to still wait and see how these leaders and the political parties react to as what kind of portfolios they have been allotted.
Well, Maria, interesting thing is, let's also talk a little bit about Nimuben Bambania, who is from Bhavnagar, and she is the MOS in the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Another interesting name, Muralidhar Mohal, the Maratha face of BJP Western Maharashtra. Also, a name from Pune that has made to the cabinet after a long time, after, of course, Prakash Javadekar and Suresh Kalmadi. He is the MOS in the Ministry of Cooperation and Ministry of State in of course, civil aviation, and George Kurian, the MOS in the Ministry of Minority Affairs. How do you see Ravneet Singh Bittu and also George Kurian making it to Minority Affairs? Because there are 5 ministers from the minority community, Buddhists, Christians, and yes, of course, yeah. So how do you see that?
Yes, so I would also say that, the choice is to keep in mind how the balancing can be done in terms of the working equations also. So if Mr. Shah is getting back the MOSs that he has worked with, they have had a good working equation for all these years. That is continuing again. So Muralidhar Mohal that we have been talking about, look at that. He is Minister of State in the Ministry of Cooperation, works with Mr. Shah, and also Minister of State in the Ministry of Civil Aviation. Unlike the previous UPAs, the Minister of States also in the NDA government, Vasudha, as we have seen and we have reported on it, in the last 10 years have had says. They have also been functional, offices as well. So when it comes to these roles and responsibilities, it has been done with keeping in mind the regional balance. For example, look at this. George Kurian, Minister of State in the Ministry of Minority Affairs. Mr. Kurian comes from the Christian community. So the BJP is sending that message. If in 2014 it was about the Muslims and you had Minority Affairs Minister, I'm forgetting his name. Yes, and in someone who had come from the Muslim community, they have made that transition,
right?
And has some, in 2019 portfolio, you had Smriti Irani.
In 2014, you had Najma Heptullah. I remember her being the
not
first.
Not Najma Heptullah.
After that, of
yes.
course, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi
Mukhtar
was
Abbas
there,
Naqvi, yes.
Yes.
Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi was the Minority Affairs Minister. Then it became. In 2019,
But Maria, listen to this. Bandi Sanjay Kumar Tonema, the former president of BJP in Telangana, MOS Home Affairs. Now, of course, he was unceremoniously dropped as the BJP president of Telangana just days before assembly elections in Telangana. And then, of course, after BJP failed to perform up to expectations, he was elevated to being general secretary in the party, and now an MOS in the Home Ministry, reporting to Amit Shah. This is, how do you see this, Maria, especially with regard to Telangana, because party has won, the BJP has won 8 seats there. So that is clearly rewarding people who have worked hard and also creating a sense of mahal or atmosphere in the state that is sort of like, that promotes the BJP, isn't it?
Yes. So Bandi Sanjay and also Kishan Reddy, both of them had played, played ball, I would say, in ensuring that the state actually gets that number. But it did not really have the kind of number that the BJP was hoping for. They were hoping for a double-digit victory in Telangana. That was not to be. But overall, if we were to look at it, Vasudha, I think the regional balance has been taken care of. Rao Inderjeet Singh, for example, let's look at Minister of State with independent charges.
Yes.
So you have 5 of them, which includes Jayan Chaudhary of RLD, and he has the skill development and entrepreneurship, a portfolio which was created by Prime Minister Modi somewhere in 2017, when the reshuffle happened. And he is also Minister of State in charge of the education. Then you have Shri Jadav Pratap Rao Ganpat Rao. He is from the Shiv Sena. He is the Shiv Sena.
He is the senior most Shiv Sena MP from Buldana, which is the only seat that Shiv Sena, or in fact Mahayuti, has won in Vidarbha, apart from, of course, Nitin Gadkari's Nagpur. So clearly that, like you rightly pointed out, is an important independent charge. Also, Shiv Sena has been making a lot of noise, right? Today, Mr. Shrikant Shinde had to issue a statement saying that there is unconditional support that Shiv Sena has to the BJP, to the NDA alliance. How do you see the portfolio allocation with respect to allies in that context?
So I would say that if you look at it, the allies have been given heavyweights. You have Lalan Singh, Rajiv Ranjan Singh, who has been given Panchayati Raj, Social Justice, Ports, Shipping, Waterway, Panchayati Raj and Fisheries and Animal Husbandry.
Yes.
I think in the context of Bihar, these are heavyweight portfolios. Then if you, again, from the TDP, this is almost continuity because they held the civil aviation in 2014. They're getting the civil aviation portfolio back. Chirag Paswan is going to head a ministry which was headed by his father in the past. So again, I would say continuity. But I think C.R. Patil's entry as a Jal Shakti minister becomes important. He is, of course, not really former, but present Gujarat BJP chief, trusted man of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, was in charge of his constituency in Varanasi. And there are challenges associated with the entire Jal Shakti project. That the government has been doing. So I think he would be able to really iron out those challenges. Vasudha?
That's right. Let's go across to our colleague Sam Daniel, who we will connect to Sam Daniel in a bit. Also, Maria, tell us a little bit about Sarbanand Sonowal actually retaining Ministry of Ports and Shipping and Waterways, and also Shantanu Thakur. So there are clearly some ministries, even if they're not part of CCS, that are not really seeing changes, especially, even if you look at Ashwini Vaishnav, IT, he's the man who's seen as somebody who's done a lot with respect to fintech. Okay,
I believe Sam is with us. Yes.
You can, we will just
in fact, Uma is with us, Vasudha. Let's go straight to her. Uma Sudhir, if you are with us, ma'am, yes, I can see Uma ma'am. Uma ma'am, overall your assessment, particularly of all the southern states, keeping in mind.
So very interesting that, Kumaraswamy, of course, has been given heavy industry and steel, and his deputy Minister of State there becomes Bhupati Raju Srinivas Verma, who is a BJP MP from Narsapuram, someone who has been a BJP loyalist for 30 years or more. In fact, he cried with joy when he was given the ticket for Narsapuram. He was not expecting it, but the BJP preferred him over other contenders like Raghuram Raju, and he's been made his deputy, and he's going to be doing heavy industry and steel along with H.D. Kumaraswamy. Again, V. Somana has been given Jal Shakti, and it will be interesting to watch how he is going to handle the Kaveri dispute when it does come up between, Tamil Nadu and, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and those water disputes that make hot political news. So he will be sitting on hot kind of topics there. Again, Chandrasekhar has been made Minister of State Rural Development and Communications, and therefore that is a Minister of State portfolio that he has been given. He's of course a debut MP who has not had any experience as either MLA or an MP or a minister in the state either, but directly getting an MOS, and he's going to be handling rural development and communications. Kishan Reddy, of course, as you mentioned, is coals and mines. And Kishan Reddy, incidentally, Maria, was MOS home in the first cabinet, in the earlier cabinet. He was the Minister of State for Home, and that portfolio has now come to Bandi Sanjay, who is going to be the Minister of State for Home Affairs. Of course, the movement of Kishan Reddy and Bandi Sanjay away from Telangana is making way for Itala Rajendra to be able to consolidate the party itself here. And interestingly, L. Murugan has been given Minister of State for INB and Parliament Affairs as well.
Let's go across to Sam Daniel. Sam, we were just talking about L. Murugan. L. Murugan comes from the Dalit Arundatiyar community of Tamil Nadu, extremely important, and these are also, he comes from a deprived section of the society, and the Prime Minister has always talked about deprived communities, and L. Murugan was the one who hosted the big Pongal function, which was also symbolically important. He's gotten a Rajya Sabha from the state of Madhya Pradesh, and he has actually only risen in the party, with key portfolios. He gets to retain MOS in the INB ministry and also gets to be MOS in the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. He had fisheries earlier. How do you see the rise of someone like Murugan, Sam, because he's been the party president in Tamil Nadu, has also been with the SC Commission in New Delhi, so lots of experience, but did lose elections in front of A. Raja of the DMK?
A slight elevation now that he has been given he has been made the Minister of State in the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs, and his earlier portfolio in charge of fisheries and animal husbandry has been divested. He retains his earlier portfolio of being the Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting. As you said, Vasudha, he is representing the Arundatiyar community, a scheduled caste community, and he is being touted as the first ever from his community to have become a union minister. Although he has lost the elections in Nilgiris, getting defeated to DMK's A. Raja, the Prime Minister has chosen to retain him in the cabinet, as he already is a Rajya Sabha member. But although there are technically two other senior ministers, including Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Jai Shankar, the Foreign Minister, one would have thought that for practical purposes, Murugan is the one who lives here. So many would have thought that he should have been given a cabinet rank or a more plum portfolio. In that sense, some would say it's a disappointment, but still some kind of elevation for the BJP leader from Tamil Nadu, who will be eyeing the 2026 assembly elections. In that sense, it's a kind of a reward. But the performance-wise, it was a disaster for the BJP as they suffered a complete rout in the just concluded 2024 elections. But the DMK sources say they're quite happy about this particular allotment.
Right. Also, Uma, help us understand, the portfolios that have gone to people in Telangana, because, the caste complexities that work here. And also today, Itala Rajendran meeting Amit Shah, there is a lot of buzz as to what kind of changes Telangana politics in the realm of BJP will see. How do you see, who do you see taking over the BJP in Telangana? And of course, Kishan Reddy and Mr. Bandi Sanjay getting inducted as MOS Home Affairs, which is really key to sort of the working of the government. He'll now be reporting to Amit Shah.
Yes, indeed. Like I mentioned, Kishan Reddy has been in that role. He was deputy to Mr. Amit Shah before he was moved to the culture and the Northeast states in charge. So Bandi Sanjay is someone who has, he has earned a good name with both Mr. Amit Shah as well as the Prime Minister, who has very often singled him out for praise. But Telangana politics itself, very interesting, because they need someone who can consolidate the position that they have got now. Very interestingly, the vote share of the BJP in Telangana, in fact, went up from 19% to more than double. I mean, BRS lost its vote from about 37% in the last election to 16%. A majority of that, in fact, has gone to the BJP, and the BJP would want to consolidate that. Of course, there has been some talk of some kind of a match fixing, because of which in 14 of the 17 constituencies, the BRS actually came third. But the BJP needs somebody to consolidate that. And what we hear from our sources is that, yes, Etela Rajendra, who had wanted to be the state BJP chief at some point, and the BJP did speak about, leadership did speak about him as the next chief ministerial candidate of the BJP in Telangana. So they are wanting to give Etela Rajendra that opportunity to consolidate his position here with Kishan Reddy and Bandi Sanjay away. He would be able to kind of make sure that the organization in that sense is able to benefit with his experience of handling the state, and with the long term he has been such a very effective politician here, I must say. But before we sign off on Telangana, we must also look at Kerala once, I think, where Suresh Gopi, of course, there was this news this morning saying that he is not very happy with his being Minister of State. Of course, he has denied that and has said that he was only saying that I don't even want a Minister of State portfolio, but now he's being given a Minister of State for Tourism and also Petroleum and Natural Gas. And George Kurian, someone who has been a loyalist of the party, someone who is very close to Muralidharan and K. Surendran as well, and someone who has been Vice President of the Minority Affairs, now being given Minister of State Minority Affairs. Fisheries, again, very critical for Kerala, animal husbandry and dairying.
So both many Kerala important appointments there, Uma.
Are going to Assembly elections 2026, and therefore.
Modi 3.0, Tanuma, no change in top ministries, but of course a big boost for ex-Chief Ministers Shivraj Singh Chauhan, ML Khattar, and also for C.R. Patil, the BJP President of Gujarat. And top ministries remain unchanged, but key portfolios assigned to, of course, the allies as well.
While there is a lot of continuity, but very important introductions in terms of some key ministries, as you were telling Vasudha. Of course, we will be continuing to analyze the portfolio allocations on the other side of this very short break.